All set.
Should we wait till 7 exactly?
Yeah, probably. It's 6:59.
Okay. Gotta go by the book.
Yeah. If someone comes, we'll let them in.
Mhm.
There we go, 7:00.
Okay, all right, ready to start. We'll start it at 7 o'clock on the dot. So we have meeting minutes, which looked great to me.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from September 10th.
I'll second.
I think
Was
Nicole.
that
was trying to
Carol who seconded?
That was a joke.
Nicole, you're muted,
Nicole's
Nicole.
muted.
I couldn't hear anyone, so I'm like,
It was muted, I unmuted, and then I muted again. I will second the motion.
Nicole, I'm sorry, I thought it was Carol. Would you guys, I'm sorry, I'm on a single screen. I usually have you guys on 2 monitors. And so I have my notes up on one. Would you just tell me your name when you're, because I can't see you once I start typing.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm single screen too.
So it was Sue and Nicole.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And then we need to poll everybody else. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
all in favor?
Amy in favor.
I'm the same thing. I didn't print, I'm sorry. I didn't print everything. I'm looking at the screen too, so this is
Okay.
tricky. I won't do it this way again.
We'll guide you through it.
Yeah, maybe I can minimize
Okay,
the
so-
faces. I can do 2 things at once. I think I can minimize you guys. I can see my notes. All right. Did everyone?
Laura Vertham, you're in, right? So that's Carol. You said yes,
Yeah.
Carol? Okay.
Yeah. Was that everybody?
Because they, okay. So do you want me to go on to the financial report?
Sounds good.
So we had $88.68 in deposits to our user fee account. We had $200 deposit to our gift fund. What happened was the Pawtucket Red Sox actually gave us a refund for the passes, but they made the check out to the library instead of the Friends of the Library. So we deposited it into the gift fund, and the funds that the Friends are going to be giving us each month for the hotspots and a few other things they agreed to pay for, we're just going to take the $200 off of that just to round it out. So what I'm doing is I'm giving them an invoice every month because they're paying for the hotspots, the public copier, and any program supplies. So I'm giving them an invoice every month, and then I'll just take this $200 off of what they normally give us for the gift fund. And then we had 2 sets of bills we paid this month. On 9/16, building and maintenance supplies, $15.12. Books and periodicals, $5,449.45. Equipment maintenance costs, $81.98. The gift fund, $164.83. Office supplies, $613.43. Technical maintenance services, $1,592 for a total of $7,917.22. On September 30th, we had books and periodicals, $3,104.84, $231.23 for the gift fund. Building maintenance costs, $114.50. State aid supplies, $24.69. Office supplies, $120.58. Janitorial supplies, $10.99. Technical maintenance services, $395. And COVID-19 supplies, $167.67 for a total of $4,169.50. On to my director's report. So the only thing that has happened since the last meeting was we started the computer reservations this week. We had one slot every 2 hours, the hours that were open, and all week, all of the slots were full. So, and next week so Cecily's on vacation this week. We're only doing this when Cecily's in because it's just easier to have one person manage. Has the station been cleaned? Is who's coming in? I think the following week, most of the reservations are taken. I'm going to give this a month to see how it goes. We might end up opening up a second station on the opposite hour, but we'll take it slow and see how it goes. People are grateful. People are thankful that, someone like they need to order their Amazon things that they just weren't, people that didn't have access, We had some people sitting in the parking lot that have actually been coming in now and sitting at a computer doing things. So overall, it's been going really well. We did discuss a little bit last time about fines. Obviously, we're not charging any fines when things are returned. Everything's being returned in a setting that we call amnesty mode. So any fines that are on the account for that item are just automatically removed. I would like to wait to have a real discussion about the status of if and when we resume fines, when I know how much state aid we're going to get this year, because that'll help us determine if we actually really need the funds to pay part-time people later on in the year. I think if we can join many other libraries that have started just not charging people fines, this might be a good time to do it. A lot of libraries are definitely moving that way. Since we're all kind of doing it now anyway. We'll still have money coming in from the copier and once things get back to normal, there's the room fees and other things. So we still will have our revolving fund. We just won't be charging 10 cents and 15 cents for things. We'll still charge people if they lose things. We'll still charge for the more expensive things like with the hotspots and all those library of things that we have things that we have a limited supply of, but just the regular books, DVDs and those things. I think if we can afford to, I think this would be a good time to consider joining many, many libraries that are just taking this as an opportunity to end fines. So I'll wait to see what the state aid numbers are, and we'll go back to that discussion. I also had a discussion with Board of Health, Bruce Wilson, the Board of Health guy, about the possibility of opening up the study room that's next to the teen room, the single-use study room, to one person a day. That way we can have Jim clean it the following morning, fog it, and we're not spending time between patrons cleaning it. But we have had people call asking, could they come in and study? I had a conversation with Bruce, and he said that he has no problem with it. He said any time limit would be up to us. And he said that if they're in the room with the door closed, they actually would not have to keep their mask on because they're in a space by themselves. So I think it would be a good service to offer. It would be done by same thing, by reservation, one person a day, and we take it slow and start weaning ourselves back into allowing more people into the building. Any feedback? Any discussion? Amy?
Do you think it would be worth it to look at getting like a little air purifier for that room since it doesn't really have any ventilation?
It does have a vent in the ceiling. It does have a vent in the ceiling to the HVAC system. Yeah, but that's something I can find out about too. Because if we've thought about, I've even thought about those for the back room and the staff offices. We're still looking into trying to find someone to get us a quote on putting a window in the back room and a window in my office. This time of year we could use it. We could keep it open in the morning and get some fresh air into the building. The contractor who came out and measured hasn't gotten back to us. So actually just today I got a new name from someone else from Roger Oakley to try to get someone in to get us an estimate. I'm hoping that if we get an estimate of that, the cost might be covered out of the state, the town's money they have for COVID funds, because it really is a measure to keep staff safer. Yeah, it would be one person a day. And, I'm sure there were some days it wouldn't be used at all, but it would have to be by reservation. If someone just walked in, I don't think we'd do it. I think it would be by reservation. So I would like you guys to approve this if there's no other discussion.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. I'll make a motion to approve opening up the study room for individual study once a day.
Sue, I'll second.
In favor, Amy.
In favor, Nicole.
Okay. And since Laura's taking the notes, we'll assume
I was typing in favor.
Okay. Okay. So I started working on the patron survey. I sent you guys a draft of it. Basically, what we're trying to find out is what are the things that we could be doing that we're not doing. So the first question is just finding out what percentage of people are Bellingham residents or not. It'd be good to know if we're deploying a survey, are people using our library just up from the survey that are not Bellingham residents? I'm sure there are. I know there are some Franklin people. Before Blackstone opened, I know we were getting a lot of Blackstone people, but Blackstone is open now. So we're just asking people what library services they've used, just to see if they can tell us what they've been using. Then the third question is about hours. So telling people what I don't think we should change hours at this point till January. If we take this survey and we get it done in October, say by the end of October, it's going to be middle of November before we get the results. So we can announce it in the December bulletin, what our hours will be for January. And what we're going to see is what people come up with. I'm leaning toward right now from 6 to 6. Right now we're open till 6:30, 2 nights a week. There's only been 1 or 2 times there's been anyone in the building after 6. So I'm thinking of making it 1 night till 7 p.m. instead of 2 nights till 6:30. I think that's a better use of all the staff time. So we'll see which day people come up with. Mondays are kind of iffy because if it's a Monday holiday, then we're not open, and we would be open no nights. So I'm kind of leaning toward, like Wednesday's middle of the week. So we'll see what people, what the votes are for, but just figure out what time people want to come in, and then see how much the demand is for the Saturdays to determine, do we want to open a few hours on Saturday mornings.
Bernadette, do you think it would be worth putting the current hours there under the question?
That's not a bad idea. Yeah. List the current hours. Yep. I actually just, I have to find a way to deploy this survey. Steve said he can help me with probably a Google survey, because the town survey software that we used to use is no longer available. So we have to find some survey. Worst
Google
case.
survey is really easy.
What is it?
Google's the one that Steve was going to use is really easy.
Okay, and if it's not, I'll probably just pay for a Survey Monkey if we need to pay for a Survey Monkey to get it done. And then the next question, if we were to stay open on the evening until 7, which evening would you prefer? Just to see what night they want us to be. The next one is, tell us how you've been acquiring your reading materials in the last 6 months, everything that'll apply. Because are they buying stuff? Are they, what are people doing? I'm just curious what people will tell us that they've been doing.
Can we go back to the hours for a second?
Sure, yeah.
So if we only stay open one night until 7 o'clock, what would be the other closing days? Like what time would you close on those days?
Well, we could go till 4 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock or something. That's up for, because right now we're closing at 3 the other 3 days, but I could see us staying open till 4 or 5.
Right. The only thing is, so I work till 3.
Yep.
I get that email that tells me that I have to come and pick up my stuff within a certain number of days. But if I work till 3 every day, then I won't be able to get to the library to get, which I've had problems with already.
So vote for weekdays 3 to 5 p.m.
Well, yes, I would, but just throwing that thought out there for all those teachers that work until 3.
Trying to keep it simple, because if you have too many different days you close at different times, people get confused. So it would be good. I mean, I could see going till 4 or 5 on some of those days too. But it's I mean, we're there till someone is there till 5 most days. Some days, because of how we have people coming in earlier in the morning, because getting all that curbside stuff together is really, it's staff intensive. Yeah. So a bunch of people coming in early. So if they're coming in at 8:45, 8:45, they're leaving by a little earlier. So I have to figure out how to parcel the schedule.
I agree too, because it's really hard. And if you're like, I only work till 3:30, and I've missed it a few times, but like my husband works every day till 6. So, and he doesn't take a lunch. So I think it's hard to get there. And I've missed my books twice now because I couldn't get there.
So I'm definitely not against staying open till, I mean, we could say if we get a lot for the 3 to 5 or 5 to, we could be open till 6 1, 6 1 or 2 nights, and then 7 the other one. I think the 7's important because I think closing at 6 is too early for people that do if they work out of town and trying to get back. I think we need to be open one night till at least 7. So we'll see and maybe we do, because we could open later. If we did, say we open at noon on Mondays and we open from noon to 6 2 days a week, and then 11. I don't know. If we open from, so do you think my hours should be different? Do you think 6 o'clock would be a better late time? Like,
yeah, and the other thing too is, I think so too. And like the people taking advantage of the study room could be students that need those later hours much
Yeah.
beyond 3 too,
Okay,
you know, because they're
yeah.
going to need to work on a project or
Okay, so,
college
so
students around here.
let's talk
Yeah.
about what the options should be. I mean, there's opening, I mean, we used to open at 10. Our regular library hours were 10. We're opening at 10 now on Fridays, supposedly for seniors, and we're not, you know, we don't care who comes in at 10 o'clock. So we could, you know, the traffic is really, really slow. I think we can, once we know, I mean, we probably won't have this done. I don't know if it's going to pick up or not. The most people we've had in the building any day is 52 people. Back in, you know, the old days, 300 was not unusual, you know, so and some days it's as low as 24, 25 people are in the building.
What if instead of keeping the library open until 6 o'clock, you just have that curbside pickup availability till 6, and then that way your staff that's coming in early on in the morning can maybe be the later people while they're not having any patrons, they can be getting the curbside stuff ready for the next day.
We did talk about that in a staff meeting of doing the curbside later. If the curbside's out, we still need 2 people in the building to do that. And that's okay. We need 2 people if we're going to stay. But we could. And I don't know. My feeling is if the traffic is so low for doing curbside, we should just be open, because if it's 1 or 2 people wandering in, we might as well let 1 or 2 people, you know, wander in. So
Can I just ask a question? Why is the option for, and let me go, I'm going to lose you again because I'm going back. Why is the option for 2 of them 4 hours and then 3 hours, and then the weekdays are 2-hour increments?
So it was based on, right now we're open 11 to 3. That's our regular, and then we're open till 6:30 the other 2 days. So I wanted to see, do people want to stay till 5, or did they really want to, you know, how much later did they want to stay? The options are, we can have a discussion of what those options are. I'm absolutely totally free to change those to what they think. I mean, they could just be 2-hour increments. You know, it could be like 11 to 1, and then 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7. Does that make more sense? And then, you know, Saturdays, I don't want to do anything other than 10 to 1 on Saturdays. If we're open on Saturdays, we're going to be, you know, it's going to be a 3-hour shift that will be out of there relatively early. Because if we are open 10 to 1, they need to have the stuff ready for 10. Whoever was working would have to be there at 8 to have the curbside ready, or 8:30 to have the curbside ready. And then, you know, so it'd be 8:30, they'd be working 8:30 to 1 probably, or 8:30 to 1:30. So 2-hour increments, would that make more sense? Or that's still not going to help me know whether we should close at 5 or 6 or 7 if I do the 2-hour increments.
Well, Nicole was saying that her husband works till 6. My husband, you know, works later hours too. So if they were to come to the library, they would, you know, even if you were open till 7, honestly, he's not going to make make the window.
I mean, should we? I mean, we used to be able to, but should we go one night till 8? It's really going to be dead. And we've had almost no one there in the, no one. Now the curbside, maybe if we were there curbside, people would still come pick up their stuff late. You know, maybe we go back to, if we do go back to one night, it's just it's a scheduling nightmare, because it'd have to, every week would have to be different people, because I can't ask the same people to work every week, you know, if there's only one night to work. But that's a reasonable, and then actually if you had the study room for that one night, if it wasn't used during the day, someone could use it till 7:30.
I mean, is there a possibility of doing 3 to 6? You still,
Well, we could
still,
do,
I mean, because your teachers, I think, are going to be a good chunk of the patrons who are getting books. They're, you know, elementary schools, they're in school till 3.
So
maybe they're not getting out till 3:30.
Say we did 10 to 2, 2 to 5, and 5 to 8. That's 1 is 4. Actually, let's make it 11 to 2, because it'll be 11 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 8, and then we can keep the Friday morning. That's 3-hour windows.
Bernadette, is this going to be a ranked choice voting question?
It said it is. Tell us the 1 or 2 times you're most likely to come. It is. They can select up to 2.
I see what you mean about no one's going to remember their library hours, because they're different every day.
No, but I know
you have 2 days the same and 2 days the same. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I think right. If we had these options, I think we would be open like say we keep the 11 to 3, except like on Mondays and Fridays, because Mondays is a lot of holidays, and then we do Tuesday and Thursday something, and then the Wednesday is and just there what people, people vote, but maybe the Thursday is 11 to 8, and then the Tuesday, Thursday are 11 to 5 or something. Then there's at least some consistency.
So you want 2 nights, 11 to 8, or 1 night?
Well, just one. I don't think we need.
So
Yeah.
like a Thursday?
Yeah, I was thinking Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. You know, it's
Wednesday, 11 to 8. Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday, 11 to 5. And Monday,
I have a
Friday.
question when
Yeah.
Carol's done with her question.
Mhm.
Are you done with your
I need to make a spreadsheet. Hang on a minute.
So that would be 8.
I'm gonna forget my question when you're
Go.
So what is the point of the abbreviated hours? Is it because we don't have the patronage? Is it because we're concerned about staff?
Basically any hour we're open, the part-timers are on the desk. So
Okay.
we're paying, it would be
Financial
paying,
concern?
it would be financial, right? We'd be paying more time people for less. Now the curbside, being just open for curbside, yeah, and we could do that too. We could just leave the cart out there even though the full-time staff is in the building and the door is locked, and then still answer the phone if people are outside and they call and they have a problem. But to have someone on the desk is, I mean, I was just looking at how many hours that would be. 11 to 8 would be 8.
So
and
can we kind of wean people off the curbside and
people would freak. No, I don't think
still have it. Still
Yeah.
I
have
just
it, but
freaked,
like
Kara. I
wean
just
them
freaked
off.
out.
No, like wean them off. Like not like goodbye.
So right,
Just like,
well,
Yeah.
my long-term thought about
It's
curbside,
complicated.
my long-term thought about curbside is when things get a little back to normal, what a lot of libraries do is they have this stuff on their hold shelf, just on a shelf in the library, and then the people come in and use the self-checkout to check it out. So they're not, like right now, we're doing all the work. We're checking them out, we're bagging, we're doing all that stuff. What a lot of libraries do is that they put them on the whole shelf like we always do, and then we put your, something with an elastic band with your initials around them. You come in, you grab them, and you check them they're out of the self-checkout. That's what I'm thinking of we can do
Like
when,
a Panera.
yeah, exactly. When people, we can do that when people are more comfortable coming in the building, but there's still a lot of people that I think don't want to come into the building.
Maybe do you have
but
a
you know-
question about people's comfort level about coming into the library?
Yes, it
Besides
does
that
say
one?
that. That same thing, I'm not yet comfortable visiting the library.
yeah, that's a good point. Like
at the end
if
of number
there's-
3, the last option is I'm not yet comfortable visiting the library.
Maybe a question about what would make people more comfortable. Like, what do you?
Like an open, well, we have an open at the end, tell us anything you want to tell us, so.
Yeah, they'll tell us.
But I was just looking at that, so that if we did that, the hours that I mentioned, that would be 29 hours a week that would be open to the public. And then right now we're doing 20, what are we doing right now? We got 6.5 times 2 is 13 plus 12. Right now we're doing 25, so that would be 4 more hours a week. And then if we did Saturdays on top of that, that would be 32.
And how much is it
public
usually?
hours.
It's 40 that we have to have on a regular year?
Our 50 is our requirement.
50. Oh, so we're down by half.
Right,
So,
but
but I mean, did we talk about having the curbside fewer days?
no.
I don't know if I missed. Okay.
No, I think the curbside is, it's important to people. With the stuff we're hearing, people really love it and they want it. What I'd like to be able to do, which we haven't figured out how to do, is without manually counting, is how many items are going out curbside. We get a list every morning of the things that are Bellingham items that we're packaging for curbside, but all the things that come back from other libraries that we're checking out, it would just complicate how much time they have to spend processing if they had to count how many curbside things we were really doing every day, because they stay on there for a week, so you can count how many are on the count at any one point, but some of them might have been there for 3 days or 4 days, so it's really hard to know. But I would say my guess would be half of the stuff that's going out, well, maybe more, is going out via curbside. So if we had, that would be 29 hours plus if we did Saturday, that would bring us to 32 hours. So it would be actually 7 more hours than we're open right now. If we had
And what
the
were the Saturday hours you were thinking?
To 10
earlier?
to 1. Just,
Yeah,
10 to 1,
that
10
makes
to
sense.
1. Yeah, just a short
Okay.
day. Yeah. I mean, a lot of it, we'll see what people vote for, but I like the idea of doing, let's do the 3-hour increments, 11 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 8. And then, then the Saturday 10 to 1 stays in there. and I'm not yet comfortable visiting the library as an option. And they can select up to 2. So if someone says, okay, I come in the morning, but my husband will come in the afternoon, they can still select those 2 times. Or get your husband to complete the survey.
True.
And then pick the evening. I think it makes sense not to do Monday as an evening because a lot of Mondays we're not there. You know, there's a lot of Monday holidays. So the middle of the week makes a lot more sense. It's just what I will do while this is running is I'll run the numbers as far as, you know, that this is, I mean, I can reallocate some of the full-time staff to still fill some of these hours, but if we really are there, you know, 7 more hours a week times 2, well, it'd be one more person, only one more person times, you know, how does that affect the part-time salary budget that we have to figure that out? So you guys good with 11 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 8?
Yeah.
Okay. And then asking them what night they'd like to be open. Okay, then to the next page, it was asking them how they've been getting things over the last 6 months, which that might have changed after 8 months before we get this, because 6 months March is more than 6 months ago now since I started this. But I just see it, if people are saying, are they buying things? Are they, you know, borrowing them? Kind of what are they doing to get their stuff? Then, you know, telling them about programming has been basically limited due to guidelines. We have expanded our online program. Diane is actually starting an after-school kids thing for a half an hour next week on Mondays and Thursdays. So her feeling is like the kids that go to school on Monday can come home, and at Monday at 3:15 if they want to log on and hang out with their friends with her for half an hour. And she's gonna have like wear funny hat day, or you know, just something that they can do when they're online. And her just kids getting together, hanging out, and her kind of being just there to wander. She might do some craft things and whatever with them, but that's starting next week. But you know, but ask them what kind of, where would you like us to focus? We're trying to do some, you know, craft programs. Actually, just today I got information, which is further down, from what's it called, Creative Bug, which is Joanne Fabric's like online tutorials for crafting people, and they actually have video classes taught by people, and you can actually have public performance rights. So you could like we could run a library Zoom session of how to, I don't know, macrame, whatever, and then have people watching the instruction videos together and talking about what they're seeing. So we're looking at that a little further down. I'll talk more about the things that we're looking at getting that are to try to engage people in other ways than we are now. But I kind of see what do they want us to concentrate on. And everything I have in here are things that I think, you know, are doable for us. I mean, Steve is doing a lot of videos and a lot of, he's still doing alphabets online. We're not doing much for other kid ages, and that's where we need to really try to figure out what we're doing.
They're already on, the older kids are on the screen so often.
Right. Well, that's why she decided to do it the half an hour just in the days. And so her target would be the kids that go to school on Monday, Tuesday, come home on Monday and spend a half an hour online. So they're not online. It's not the day they're online. That's why she decided to do Monday, Thursday. Her first thing was to do Wednesdays because all the kids could get all the kids at once. But then the kids are all online that day. So would they want to spend another half an hour online when they're already online all day? You know, so I will try it and see how it goes. You know, that's all we can do. So the number 7 is asking people, is there something that you're an expert at, or that you'd like to help us with? So we're free or low cost program. So if someone wants to offer something up, they can offer it, and it's a proposal. We're not saying we'll do it, but I'm gonna have a form they'll fill out for a proposal to see how it goes. One of the things we talked about was people sharing their travel stories. So if they've traveled somewhere interesting, like showing their pictures and talk about what they're, you know, since you can't go anywhere, you can travel virtually to, I don't know, like China with Amy, you know, whatever. Just have someone looking at something to do something different that we can kind of low cost, and trying to get people together in this environment. Laura, you look like you're going to say something. No? Okay, okay.
Well, I'm reading ahead, and I'm
Okay.
wondering how I can like stuff the box for Tower Hill Botanical Garden.
That one's actually not expensive. That one's not expensive at all. That one will probably happen. Although you won't get into
Expensive
the
to go.
If
although
I
you-
have a vote in it, it will.
yeah, you won't get into the Christmas tree thing, but the class itself is inexpensive, and I forget what it gives, but I think it's only $150, so it's pretty inexpensive compared to some of the others. Yeah, so these are all of these things I've looked into. The survey won't be finalized till I get prices back from some of these places. The winter skate at Patriot Place I'm really excited about because that would be kind of cool to give people a chance to go ice skating. So we're trying to find out, and the Foxborough Library has that. I got the contact information from him today. So we'll find out what that costs. But obviously these will go to the Friends. We're looking for outdoor places for people to do things, through the winter and through the spring probably.
I don't think I've been to like many of these places. So
Lidewald is beautiful. I've been there. The one in Bristol, Rhode Island. That's a beautiful botanic garden.
And I didn't know Plymouth changed their name.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
I don't need to read through it for you, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Edaville. So what I did is I gave all the staff an assignment to go look at what other libraries had for passes and what they were doing for programs and what they were doing for databases, and bring them back to me of things they thought that our patrons would be interested in. So that's where all these ideas came from. They just went to other libraries' websites and saw what they were offering. With Sturbridge Village, I have that one's $400. I know that's $400. Garden in the Woods wasn't expensive either. That's a beautiful. If you haven't been there, that's a nice walking place too. Yeah. So we'll get these back. I'll bring them to the Friends. Depending on what they offer, some of them might not, not wait till the spring to do them, obviously, because some of them might close for the winter or whatever their things are. Now the skating, if that happens, we'll get that get done as soon as possible. So the electronic stuff. So Steve found this Connecticut library that had this A to Z world travel, and basically you can make travel brochures. So I'm going to Ireland. I want to go to Blarney. You can click off things and it makes like a travel plan, sounds almost like a AAA kind of thing for you. So when I contacted them, it's $150, which is pretty inexpensive. But they also have all these other things that if we buy it in October, they'll give them to us for half price. So for $75, there's like world cooking. There's like recipes and all that. So I might just buy a bunch of those before even the survey is done, because the offer's for October only, and it would only be $300 or $400 to get everything that we need, and it's pretty inexpensive. And some of the stuff looks really good. Consumer reports, I haven't got a price back yet, but I think that would be pretty well used if we had online access to patrons for consumer reports. Creative Bug, I told you, was the Joanne Fabrics one.
I like the newspapers, the online access to newspapers.
So so there's a couple. The press reader. The thing about let me just go through the list quickly because I want to give you Hoopla. Is very popular with lots of libraries. I have to get the pricing model from them because their pricing model is you pay for everything every patron that does, you pay per use. So what libraries that have that do is they limit, you get 2 movies per month or 2, so it limits how many things people can get. And even then the content I say like a lot of 80s movies, they're good movies, but you're not getting, it's not like Netflix where you're getting, new releases and new things. From what I hear, a lot of people that have Hoopla, their ebooks and their audio are popular there too. They're using that and not on top of Overdrive. So I want to see, and we've had people actually ask us to get Hoopla in the past. I've resisted because I don't like that pricing model where you have to figure out, what you do is you give the budget, I want to spend $500 a month, and they'll tell you based on how they know libraries go, how many uses you can give each patron and then if it hits your max, it just shuts people off for the rest of the month, which that's my concern, is that like, why can't I get my, sorry, we spent too much money this month. So, but lots of libraries are doing it. So I think it's not a thing. Canopy is more old movies, documentaries, and foreign independent films. It's not as expensive. I'm not sure how well that will fly in Bellingham. Freeding, no, actually, Freeding libraries are using it, but I think Freeding is going away. It's another ebook service, and there's too much other competition out there, so I don't think I'm even going to go that way. People were excited. Staff, some of the staff was excited about Acorn TV, which is British TV shows.
I'm excited.
So I think we give people an opportunity to vote for these things. We see what we can, you know, I think I figured a budget. We can spend X $1,000s on new electronic content. But because the other thing is, you know, because we have that limited browsing area, there's only so much new stuff we can buy to put in that space. Because that, you know, unless it all goes out, the space is going to fill up over time. So I think this is a good year to expand the money we're spending on electronic content. It still counts toward our state requirement, and it's a good way to spend the money.
Bernadette, what are the thoughts of expanding that browsing area?
To what? Like all of the fiction? Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know. I'm not thinking anything. I'm just.
Okay. We haven't really had, the biggest thing about expanding it more is we have to clean every day whatever we expand it to.
And by cleaning, what, like fogging it?
Fogging it and maybe and wiping down, like we're wiping, you know, all of the, anything that's, I mean, we could block off, you know, the reading area and just have just the stacks, you know, do something there. But everything, I mean, Jim's fogging and wiping down all the surfaces every day. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot of cleaning. That's the big, and the guidance now isn't as much that it's a touchy disease, it's a breathy disease. So I think, you know, I can see that over time going, I don't know, I'm not sure. And maybe that is something that we talk about doing for January. If we're going to expand hours, then we expand space.
Something to think about.
Yeah. I think I'd like to keep it the way it is now for a little bit longer, where we are. So the New York Times is not cheap. It's and I'm not really a fan of how the access is. I thought it was going to be like, I have a subscription to it now that I just log in with. Once I create my library account, I log in with my user ID and password in a minute. That's not what their library model is. You have to go to the library page every day to get like a code that you use to log in. So it drives people to so they can keep track of it. It just seems a little bulky to me. And my staff actually doesn't think it would be as well used. I don't know. I think we see what people vote for it. So people are subscribers. I mean, I pay $15 a month for it. If enough people are paying $15 a month that really want it, and I know what it costs, so I can see how many people say yes and say, okay, if they're going to pay, and the prices are all over the place. Because at one point my 15 went up to 25 and I called to complain, and then it went back down to 15, you know, they got me down to 15. So I think they try to get whatever they can from people that are subscribing. I'm not sure. I feel bad. We're not renewing any of our print newspapers as they come for renewal because we have no way for people to read them, you know. So until we can have people sitting in the building reading a newspaper, we're not going to be subscribing to the ones that we have. The press reader one is national and global newspapers. Like it has the Boston Herald is the only one. It's more tabloid newspapers. It's the New York Post. It's, you know, so I don't know. I feel bad not having newspapers because I think that is a kind of a core library service. But if we're gonna, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars of stuff on things that aren't used either. So.
What about the Milford Daily News? Is there an option for like?
There's no way to get current content in a library model. Nope.
No,
Nope.
bad.
The Globe doesn't have one either, which I was really surprised.
A lot of times people are looking for local.
Yeah, the Telegram does. The
Yeah.
Worcester Telegram does. I haven't got their pricing yet. The Worcester Telegram does, but I don't know how well they cover this area. I mean, when we had it, I think we stopped getting the Worcester Telegram in print because it wasn't being used. You know, we were getting the Globe. We gave up the Metro West Daily News because it was the same content as the Milford Daily News mostly. So we had the Globe, the Milford Daily News, USA Today, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, USA Today. Those were the ones that so we're getting a couple of national newspapers and a couple of local ones. I think we just wait and see what people vote for and see if something really comes to the top. And if it's, you know, basically it's clear is that, you know, obviously we can't afford. And if I haven't done this, we're considering expanding our online, so we can figure what those are. what else do we have here? Flipster is another magazine. We have magazines right now through RB Digital, and RB Digital is merging with Overdrive, so they're all going to be available in the Overdrive platform, which is our ebook platform. And so that's a decent number of magazines. And we are still circling the magazines. So when the new magazine comes in, we picked like the top 20 of magazines that tend to go out, and we have those on top of one of the bookshelves. And when people come in, they can check out. We're not keeping one for reading in-house. The brand new magazine is available to anyone who grabs it, and people can reserve them online if they want to reserve a magazine. So the magazines are going out. So those will continue. There's kind of, a daily newspaper is kind of hard to circulate. There's no way, we were doing with the ones that we had when they were that are still coming in, is we're just putting them out on the cart every day, and the first person that comes and takes them free, so somebody gets the newspaper, because we already paid for it. There's we now get one person to use the paper, but we're not renewing any papers at this point. So those are the things that we are considering offering. And then the next question is how do you find out about what's going on in Bellingham? We want to make sure we're hitting people as many places as we can. I probably should have an other there too. And then what materials or service would like the library to provide that we are currently not offering? Please note we can only offer services that meet our guidelines. So if people say, I want I want Mr. Steve to do in-person programming, we'd love that too, but that ain't happening, so, and then anything else you'd like us to know, and if you'd like to contact us, please provide your name. So that's the, I don't think, I went through this with the staff. If you think of anything that we missed, that we should, the idea is this is what we're kind of telling them what we're doing by what we have, and asking them what would they like us to do on top of that.
Can I add a thing for question number 5?
Yep.
So I ended up using more of Overdrive. That's not an option on there that I use more. I borrow for e-readers. I don't purchase them. I borrow.
Okay. Curbside pickup, buying new book, buying. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So curbside pickup at the library. I'll just say Overdrive. Do you think people know what is Overdrive, or should I say ebooks? Overdrive from the library. I can do Overdrive / ebooks from the library.
Yeah, I would put both.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because we're shut down. That's all we had. That's all there was there. That was it. Okay. So I'll get this together. I was thinking of trying to get it out by maybe the 3rd week in October and running it for 2 or 3 weeks. I'll see what the response is. If I have to keep it up longer, I will. We just have to have the hours settled before December 15th so we can get them in the bulletin for. So we're meeting, when do we meet in December? What day of the week is that? Let me see what that is. Hang on. December calendar. Come on, we meet the 10th, so that's good. So we can settle the hours before the press release is due. Okay, so that's the survey. Back to what else did I have here? That's my report. Survey. Oh, holiday hours. Okay. So normally we're open the day after Thanksgiving. Our hours on Fridays are only 11 to 3, and it is a paid holiday for all the library staff. So I think this is a good year just to say we're going to close for the Thanksgiving weekend. We'll stay open our regular, usually we close at 1 o'clock the day before. We'll stay open our regular hours till 3 on Wednesday, and then just close until Monday morning. I think that makes sense. And then Christmas and New Year's Eve are on Thursdays, so those we'll just do our regular hours for. Close at 1 o'clock. So I guess I'd like you to vote on being closed at after Thanksgiving, because that's the day we're normally open.
I had a quick question, actually. I'm trying to scroll to that page. Oop, my bad. It was like the second bullet of that.
Yeah.
I think it was misstated. Like, I think you meant the day before 1 o'clock.
We normally close at 1 p.m. the day before.
No, but then the next bullet, I think, had.
The next bullet.
Second bullet. We will, as usual.
Oh, on the day before. The day
Yeah,
before,
I think you meant the day before.
Well, I said Christmas and New Year's Eve are on Thursdays. We will close as usual for the holiday. But, okay, yeah, this is missing out, but close at 1 PM on
The day before.
the day before. Okay, yeah,
Or
okay. On the days, on the eves.
on the Wednesdays.
On the eves, the
or- on the
Wednesdays,
eves.
On the eves. No,
On
the
the
Thursday,
eves
that's
of the
Thursday.
eve.
The Thursdays are the eves, Friday is the holiday. So, okay, I'll rephrase that, yeah.
Okay.
But we're gonna close at 1 o'clock on Christmas and New Year's Eve, and then we'll be closed on, obviously, Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and then we reopen the following Monday.
Okay. All right, so you want to vote on that?
Yes.
I'm just looking at all your faces to see if you agree. I will make a motion. Oh, no, go ahead.
Sue, I'll make the motion to have the Friday after Thanksgiving off and close on Christmas and New Year's Eve at 1. And reopen the following Monday.
I'll second that. It's Carol.
Judy, in favor?
Nicole in favor.
Aye.
Okay, great.
Okay, budget is good. We're 25% through the year, and we spent 29% of the budget. That's where we're gonna run behind. If you look at the part-time salaries, we've spent 43% of that budget already. So we're gonna, that's not obviously not gonna last us through, and that's where the state aid will kick in. So if it's, so in 3 months, we spent almost half the money. So by the end of the year, by December, that money's probably gonna be close to gone for the part-timers, and we'll have to move to state aid. So that's why I want to see how much state aid we're getting before we move forward on the other things. But everything else is looking pretty good. Nothing crazy there. So right now in our state aid account, we have $22,000, well, $22,169.16. We should get at least another 8 in December or November or December. Probably December this year because I'm just doing the application, and it might even be January, but that's enough to get us through the part-timers. Our fine money is down to $80. We're, we're not getting fines and we've spent user fee money, and our gift fund still has $4,000, 84 cents in it. So, and I'm using the gift fund to pay for some of those program things and other things that we just normally paid for out of the fine money, that to save the state aid money to pay the part-time staff. Okay, so update on the HVAC. At the Capital Improvements Committee meeting, whatever day that was last week, we had questions about why we were just doing the air conditioning and why we weren't proceeding on doing both at the same time. They asked us to get one more opinion on the HVAC system. So today, was it today or yesterday? Yesterday, the dentist suggested I call Victory Heating. So yesterday, someone from Victory Heating came over, met with Jim and Tim Accardi, the building inspector, to look at the system. He hopes to get us something before Tuesday. The Capital Improvements Committee is meeting again on Tuesday. They're all somewhat agreeing that there's no reason to do both at the same time. They think it makes sense to do the air conditioning first because that's where we're having the most difficulty, and then do the heater, the boiler later on. So I think we have a third person confirming what the other 2 people have already confirmed. So I have a tentative thing to go back to the Capital Improvements Committee meeting. Theirs is on Tuesday at 5:45. With whatever information I get from Victory. If I don't get it before Tuesday, we'll be on the following Tuesday. But I don't even know that I need, unless you got, and Clara, if you want to come, you can. But it's just, at this point, it's got to be, just got to figure out how they're gonna, who wants to do what. Either we know what the system needs, we know what needs to be done. It's just getting all the committees on board with the procedure. I think we're probably going to end up going with the original one that we had, that $99,000 from the expediter, and just moving that forward at town meeting. But we'll see what they say. The 5-year capital plan was submitted to town after the last meeting. Then I have the statistics in front of me. So circulation in July, July the library wasn't physically open, so that was just curbside. We did 3,800 items. In August, went down to 3,500, but then September went up to 4,100. Now September is when we opened, middle of September, we opened the children's room to allow more space in there. So it'll be interesting to see when we have a full month of October, what the numbers are doing. But the children's numbers, August was just, I don't know, August was weird because I think maybe it was people were just excited in July that the curbside was available, and they kind of went crazy getting a lot of things all at once, and then it leveled off a little in August because they had what they needed for I don't know. But you know, it was down 300 items isn't a ton when you're talking about, you know, patrons in the bill, 202 patrons. So that's 1 or 2 items per person less, you know.
Can I go back to the HVAC for a minute?
Yeah.
I know that you know that I feel this way, but I am concerned that we're not going to have the money to do the heater next year when the town's budget goes down.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
I know that everyone seems to think we will, but
yeah,
I'm concerned if we don't do it with the AC, then it's not going to get done.
I'm concerned. My concern is if we don't do it now, we don't have enough time to get the AC done before things goes on. And
that's a good point.
And you know, the heating system itself, we haven't put money into the heating system. So if the heating system has to wait a year or 2, even if it has to wait 2 years.
Is that the heating system, the one that takes up the whole room back there?
No, that's not going away. That's the air handler. So
Okay.
I've learned more about HVACs than I need to know. So the air conditioning unit is the thing that's outside the building in the fence.
Okay.
That will be a smaller unit, but it still has to be outside within that fence. So it's on that, it's going to take up the same amount of space. The thing that's in that back room is the air handler, and that's what moves the air, whether hot or cold, around the building. So that is not going to be smaller. So that's, and that won't be, there's some minor piping stuff to do, but that is not going to change. That it's like, you know, like if you have forced hot air, the things in your, what are those things called? The vents.
The ducts.
The ducts,
yeah.
The ductwork doesn't need to be changed. The ductwork is there.
Yep.
So it's just changing in the units and the heater. So I think what will happen is if the heater does start having trouble and it's not costing us money to fix it, then we get on them for, look, you know, if it ends up being like this summer where we spent $10,000 on the air conditioning system, and it starts becoming a expense to fix, then it will become a priority for them, because obviously
I'm just concerned that the town's budget is going to tank. That's all.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen next year. If that, I think maybe next year we concentrate on getting the $30,000 for the rhino shielding, something smaller, and then go. Although they're saying from the quotes I'm getting on the heating system is $30,000 to $50,000, so it really isn't that much more than the rhino shield. So I don't think asking for one $30,000 thing the year is that big of a deal next year. You know, I think we wait and see what happens. But like I said, if it's working, it'll work. We'll pay. If we have to put money into keeping it going, we have to put money into keeping it going. I'm concerned if we don't get the air conditioning done, if we turn it off, it off for the season, it's not going to come back on next spring. That's my real concern with that. Okay. So our adult circ is 75% of what it was the 3 months to 3 years, P years. I don't think that's actually that bad, considering we're in a pandemic. You know, 75% of the stuff is going out. The adult stuff. Overall, it's 65%. Children's is still less, only 54%. And I don't know if that's because kids aren't coming in as much. You know, people are coming in with, I see more older kids. I don't see those people coming in with the toddlers like they used to when Steve was doing story times. So I think those people might be, I don't know, maybe they're getting less books. I don't know what they're doing, but the children's circ is definitely down. We didn't have a summer reading crunch this year. Like, I don't know if the kids didn't read their summer reading books or if they didn't, or if everyone just bought them, but we had no summer reading crunch this year at all.
We ended up buying ours this year.
Yeah.
We bought ours too.
Yeah.
We did too.
We bought them and nobody read them, so.
So yeah, we had no, I mean, normally the last week, you know, the second week in August, everyone's coming in and, you know, scrambling for that. We always had some of those books sitting on the shelf. We didn't run out of anything all summer long. So,
what percentage of those percentages are curbside versus people coming in?
We don't have a way to gather that yet. I'm trying to figure out how we can do that.
What do you think?
I would say more than half is curbside.
Okay.
That's just my inkling from what I see. I might try to just do maybe try to have them do like 1 day a week where we really do track it. So
that's a good amount of people coming in though, if it's half.
Yeah. If our biggest day was, that's on the next page, hang on. So our biggest day was 52 people. And our lowest day was 7 in September. There was one Friday that we just had, it was a beautiful day. No one came in the building. In the 4 hours, we had 7 people. But I mean, there are some, you know, I guess we had one day that only had 10 people. You know, there's some really slow days, but those days now we're in the 20s. So if we're open 4 hours, we're getting 20, 30 people at a time in a day. But it's still not a lot of people when you're talking that we used to get 3 to 4, some days 400, you know. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out better ways to gather better statistics, and that probably we'll have to, there's no way we have the time every day to keep track of what's curbside versus what's, but we could do like random days, you know, check-ins. They could count how many they check out curbside, you know, one day a week, and then we can compare it and get some kind of idea to figure it out. But it changes every day too. You know, one day could just be a busy day and one day is not. So it's kind of hard. Actually, I just thought of one way we could do that. If they checked out everything that was going out curbside on one computer and checked out everything that was going out to patrons on another, you could do by computer. That's actually a good idea. Curbside, if I could get them to, or even mostly, if they did it most of the time, that you could have curbside versus in person. Then we could get, because I think you can look at checkouts by station, and then we could actually look at how many are checked out on the self-checkout station too. That would be
Did
good to
curbside
know.
go down at all when you opened?
I don't think so. No. I don't think that. I'm just that, and that's just anecdotal, you know,
Yeah,
impressions.
I'm
Not.
just curious your
yeah.
impression.
Yeah, I don't think so. So it's still slow. You know, we're still. That's why I'm somewhat hesitant to open more hours, because then are you just stretching those 52 people over 7 hours? And I guess it comes down to, can we do it without using a lot more staff, and by staggering staff a little more than I'm staggering them now. We'll figure that out. I do plan on having a draft budget for the November meeting, because I don't know what the December timeline is. Now, the timeline might get pushed off by the town until they know more what's coming from the state. I don't know. But I'd like to have something that we can begin to talk about at the November meeting, because normally we approve it at the December meeting. I mean, and just in case that timeline happens, I'd like to make sure we at least have a discussion about it before that happens. I'm thinking, I know that our budget was cut a little more than most other town departments. I don't know if you guys noticed that at town meeting. Our percentage was a little higher. So I think we should not, I don't think we should be as conservative this year. I think we should get staff raises that didn't get them this year, and make the argument that we gave it up last year, you know, when we put that together. Our action plan is due by the Board of Library Commissioners. I gave you a draft. But I was looking at it, and there's some tweaking I want to do with it. The biggest thing is explain to them that things that were on this that were planned for 2 years out are being pushed up. The HVAC is being pushed up. The self-checkout station went, you know, we did that already. So I'm really not happy yet with the layout of how I did this. So I've got to look at it one more time. It's not due till December 1st, so we can do this at the November meeting. If you want to look at it and talk about it now, we can, but we could just put it off till the December meeting. You guys good putting it off?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the last thing on the agenda, the request has been taken away, but I'd still like to just vote on it. So the Bellingham Business Association was looking for a place to hold their meetings. They actually have found another venue, but I think having this, just talking about this would be a good time now. If we do get requests from people for small meetings from town groups or something that we can accommodate, I think if they want to meet in the morning before we open to the public, I think that would be a time that we could offer to those groups. And we talked about just having them in the children's room in that open air, what used to be the play area, because the community room has got all the quarantine stuff in it. The teen room we're pretty much keeping closed, and we don't want the main area. Staff is walking around the other areas a lot. So if this we could actually hold off on voting on if you want to, because they're good for now. But I told them that I would bring it to you guys in case at some point in the future it is something that they need if their other venue falls through. I've ran it by the staff. The staff is good with it. I ran it by Jim. He's good with cleaning it up. So no one really has an issue with it.
I think the senior center is open for meetings like this too.
They were meeting at the senior center, and the senior center is doing yoga or something, so can't accommodate them anymore. So they got one of their businesses to let them in.
I mean, I guess if the senior center can do it.
Yeah.
I do have a
That's
question.
what I was
though.
thinking.
Like if we open our space to their meetings, how many other organizations do we have to open our space to?
I think it's limited to anything with less than 10 people that's willing to meet between 8 and 10 in the morning. That's it.
Well, it's always been up to your discretion. Also,
Right. It always is. Right. Yeah.
library.
I don't think we do anything with kids because we can't get, I don't want to do anything that has that we have to worry about social distancing of non-adults, you know? But I don't know. And we could just table it until, and if they tell them if they come back to it, if they want to
Well,
come
we
back to
are
us.
like a community center. I don't want to leave them without somewhere to meet,
Right.
but I just don't want to open us up for every organization,
Yeah.
to start pouring into.
Well, our general meeting room policy is it's only open to the reservation has to be done by a town resident. That's kind of that's our general policy. Now, I guess if we did this in theory, like school vacation week, could the Boy Scouts say we want to meet here at 8 o'clock on? I mean, I don't know. My first inkling was to approve it, but actually not even advertise it. But if we are approached by people saying, "Hey, do you guys have some space?" Say like the town needed a space for a public meeting or something. I don't think I'd say no to them anyway at this point. If it was a town, this is a town
We were
business
looking for a
group.
place for the poll workers.
Yeah.
Have their
Really?
meeting,
Yeah.
and they ended
Right.
up at the police station.
Right. So.
Would Jim have enough time to clean before the library opened in the morning?
All he would have to do is fog that area, and that's not a public area. The public doesn't go there. If they would be moving there's a bookcase there that the DVDs are on that Steve opens to get in and out of that area. So basically, we'd just move that. They'd be in the area, and then it would be there's no public in that area. So yeah, we could just but Jim, Steve, me, and Ann are all professional foggers now, so we know how to do it. So things they don't put in your job
resume.
description. Yeah. And then actually, the whole pandemic is things they don't teach you in library school, So yeah.
Make sure you put that in, when we review your contract next year.
Yeah. Well, no, they always say other duties as assigned. So I've drawn the line at cleaning toilets, so that's where I don't go. That's a line I don't cross. But anyway, so it's up to you guys. If you want to vote on it tonight, you can. If you want to just wait until we have another formal request from our group.
I'm okay with voting for it as long as it's up to your discretion who to approve.
And I think it's not something that we advertise. We advertise. If someone, what I would tell the staff, if someone calls about meeting space, have them transfer the call to me. I will take the call and I will talk to the people individually about what their needs are. We've had calls for people that want to meet Kip to tutor. I'm not having a kid come in with a tutor that is not related to them. I don't think that's a smart idea at this point. That's not I don't think that's a great idea.
Are they wearing masks when they're at that meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
I think if they're in the building, like everyone else, they have to wear a mask. Absolutely. But I think a lot of tutoring is kind of like people tend to get close together when they're helping someone I mean, those business people, my thing would have the chairs spread out around the room so they're 6 feet away from each other. And it's I don't think we should do anything where the people can't be 6 feet away from each other. That's,
Sure. I'm okay with it too, but
yeah.
I don't know. People want to think about it.
I'm okay with it. I mean, if it's for those limited times, 8 to 10, you're not going to have a bunch of groups, vying for the spot, and we're only opening up that one section for meetings.
Right. That
time slot too.
Yeah. I all of our meeting rooms are too small. Like the conference room, we could let 1 or 2 people in the conference room. But but right now we're using the conference room when staff is doing any Zoom sessions, when Steve's doing his things or Diane's, that's where you have the laptop set up and that's where they're doing. So that's kind of our space that we're kind of set aside for us. So that's why we decided to open the study room, because it's a room we're not using at all that we can offer.
And it's something we can revisit for when you change the hours in January.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I don't know that we're going to need it by anybody before then, really, because they found a space. But I told them I would ask in case they ran into a bind and they needed to do it, that we could be their backup space.
So do you need a motion for that?
I would like to. Yeah.
All right. Is everyone okay with it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll make a motion to open library space for public meetings, subject to the director's approval.
From 8 to 10 a.m.
From 8 to 10 a.m.
Yeah. Only morning times. I'd like that in there so that it comes back that I could say that's the times. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that one more time?
I don't remember what I just said. I think to open library meeting room subject to the director.
I would say the meeting space, open meeting space at the library for groups of under 10 or under. Okay, let me just.
Not age 10 and under.
Not yet. The groups of under 10 people at the discretion of the library director from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the mornings. And they only meet once a month too. They meet once a month on Friday, so it's not a
Thank you. Do we have a second? Not my place, sorry.
Sue, I'll second.
Aye. In favor.
In favor, Nicole.
Aye.
I think that's everybody.
That's all I have.
I think people are appreciative that we're open, Bernadette.
Yeah.
Is that what
Well,
you're
so
finding?
yesterday we had this woman that was picking up her stuff on curbside, and that someone was outside for a reason, and she was like, "Oh, you're open?" Like, so we actually put up another sign because I don't think people. So we put up another one of those boards outside saying like "open for browsing" because I think people that are just picking up curbside, it seems like they thought grab and go was grab your stuff off the cart and go, and not. So hopefully that having another sign out there saying like "come in, we're open for browsing" might encourage it. But people that are coming in, they're glad we're there. They are. Yeah.
And how are the librarians feeling? Are they comfortable with?
Because before I bring anything to you guys, I've been running it by them at a weekly staff meeting because I don't even want to bring things to you that they're not comfortable doing. You know, that was my first thing is I want them to be able to be comfortable. And yeah, they seem like they're on board.
It's
So.
too bad more of our big windows didn't open, like
Yeah,
those ones in the back or the children's room, but.
Right now, like this time of year, we could open them. We're gonna hit winter where you can't open them, and you can't open them in the summer because they screw up. But the back room, what I would, if I can get that back room one done, I could see having Jim open it for half an hour in the morning before staff gets there, just to like move the air around, and then and then we can close it up. And I would love something that had a screen that you could keep open without like birds flying in or something, but that's.
Let's get through the HVAC first before
Yes, exactly.
we start replacing.
But those we get. So I got to do it. Like I said, I have a guy coming to look at them, and if it's done with COVID money, the town we can just go forward with it. So once I have a quote, I'll bring it to Dennis and let him know, and then we'll see if it's doable with COVID money. Because the town does have money. Because I think it does. It makes sense to have some windows in the staff areas that open. The staff is in the building all day long, and the public comes in. And I think that's one of our concerns about opening the building for people sitting down at tables and all that. If they're hanging around all day, everything I've read is the longer you're exposed to someone, the higher the risk. So, we're exposed to each other all day, but adding random people from the public for longer periods is where the risk comes in.
Let's talk about school then.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, I get
Nice that we
it.
get those windows in the
They've
community.
got their windows open.
Yeah. But do the schools have windows open?
Yeah, you have to have a window open.
Yeah.
If
So
you want to be in your room by yourself with a mask, with no mask to eat your lunch, you have to have a window open.
Open. Okay. Yeah.
But
Our staff is eating lunch in the community room. That's what we're doing. We brought some of the cafe tables from the cafe into the community room, and then the windows in there are open whenever we can. That's where we're eating lunch. With all the tables everyone has their own cafe table. Well, 2 or 3 people at a time are in there eating lunch. And that's where because the lunchroom is too small the table there is too small for more than one person to be at lunch at the same time. So
they also have room ionizers. I don't know what they're called. Roger Oakley would know.
okay.
You put it in a room, you put it up by the ceiling, and you put it in a room and you close the doors, and it's a constant purifier.
Is it something you plug in? Is it just
That's something you plug in.
I thought the room purifiers had an issue of releasing too much ozone.
No, it was a wrong set. It was my room, and it was a wrong setting.
So are those? What do you mean it's up
Oh,
on
no, not your particular one. I'm talking about purifiers in general.
Oh, I'm not aware of that.
Is
I know ours
yours-
was on the wrong setting,
How
but
is
it's
it up in the ceiling? What is it?
no,
So
it's a shelf. So Ben
On a
made
shelf.
shelves, and so we've made a shelf. You put it up
okay.
above the
So
door.
it's those black things that are like towers, right? That kind of look like.
No, it's about this big, literally, probably about 8 to 12 inches tall.
I'm gonna ask Rob because it might be good to get a couple of those for the back room and
Wait,
or
if
even
the
for that
closed.
even for that study room. Yeah.
Yeah, if the doors are closed, it works well.
Yeah.
We use it for our room because we have bathrooms in there.
Yeah.
So you keep the bathroom doors open, you close your outside door, your door to the hall, and it continuously is purifying our room all day.
Yeah. That might be a good idea to get one of those for the study room. I'll find out from Roger what that is, and if it's the only because our staff is in that big wide open back area. There's no one Like, but down the road, like, should the teen room have something like that? You
Right.
know, the rooms that we do close doors in.
I'll ask Ben tomorrow what it's called, and then I'll text you.
Okay, that'd
I
be
think
great.
the ones with the HEPA filter
Yeah.
are safer for you. The ionizing ones, I think those are the ones with the ozone issue.
Okay. Because there's ones that have like we've had some at home that there's no filter in them. You take it out and it's like a metal thing that you wipe, like it's electrostatic or something. It sticks to them to clean them. So I don't know. Yeah, send me the model or whatever. That
Okay.
I can, and I'll talk to Roger about them and take it from there.
Okay.
Because that would definitely be COVIDable, if that's a word. A COVID expense.
Okay,
Okay, we all
all
set?
right, yep. Closing the meeting at 8:09.
Have a good
Thank
have a
you.
good one, everybody. Take
Till
care.
next time.
Have a
Bye.
good night.
See
Bye.
you.
Hey.